How you doing, fight fans? It's Timmy Shoes with Inside Fighting, and I've got an amazing guest with me here today, fresh off of his 63-second knockout of Tom Nolan, Nikolas Motta. Nicholas, thank you for joining us. How you doing?
Doing good, my friend. Today is Monday. Just enjoying the Monday. Feels good to be a winner.
Now, you came into that fight, you were a big underdog. There was a lot of hype around this kid. He was undefeated, and you took him out there in 63 seconds and you served up a slice of humble pie because he was talking a bit of trash on social media. It's something you had mentioned. Is it especially satisfying to have been able to take care of business so convincingly against a guy who was talking a bit wild?
Yeah, it was. He's really, really good. He was undefeated, and his fight on the North Contender Series looked just perfect and was a real fast and amazing knockout. But at the same time, I was thinking, okay, like he can say all those things, and maybe, and he looks so good, but I know when I hit him and his face is gonna change and he's gonna be welcome to the real world to being with in the cage with Nikolas Motta world, and that's what happened when I hit him first time. I could see that he could feel that because I do hit real hard.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I have this amazing quote from you. You said this leading up to your fight against Van Kemp. And I think this quote is so good, it should be in every fight gym across the globe. Doesn't matter if it's Muay Thai, BJJ, MMA. You said something along the lines of, it's time for me to stop fighting with my balls and time for me to start fighting with my head and my experience. And I was watching this fight with Nolan and I thought, wow, this is a perfect example of his quote because, this 23-year-old kid, undefeated, he came out full of testosterone. He threw heat early, but you didn't fold under the pressure. You fought with your head. You kicked his legs out from under him, and then you cracked him with these counter shots. Do you feel like you realized that quote, that standard you put for yourself to fight more with your head?
Yes, I did came out full of testosterone too, but
Yeah.
I learned a lot from past experience, and like I say, like I told Jimmy, I say Mila, when I saw Jimmy, I was like, brother, I'm gonna the same thing you did to me on my UFC debut, I'm gonna do to this kid because I'm gonna use my experience, and that's what happened. And at the same time, my last fight, I wasn't aggressive enough. I didn't perform. I felt like almost like my fight before with Trey Ogden. After the fight, I felt almost like I didn't even fall. So it was on a
Right.
Saturday. Monday, I was back to the gym, and I was trying to get in another UFC card, and I was like, brother, I had plans to go home and see my family, but I said no, I'm not. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna stay focused until I get a new fight and I can get some redemption and redeem myself, and that's what I did. And finally I found it the right balance, like of
Mhm.
I had to go back to my roots a little bit too with my all the aggressiveness that I always had. That's why I had nine knockouts and, like, I think seven first round knockouts, and now I have 10 knockouts and probably eight first round.
Yeah. And building off what you said, Nolan had spoken a lot of trash on social media, but you took the opposite route. You took the high road. You praised this kid every step of the way. Even after the fight, you said, I was looking back at his footage. He's so talented. He doesn't have a lot of holes. You even said that you think he could become champion because he's only 23 years old. Now, you had mentioned your fight against Jim Miller. You fought the experienced guy and you learned about a lot from that experience. Do you think when Nolan looks back on his career, he might view this fight against you as a pivotal moment where he sort of takes some important lessons, maybe takes a step back, evaluates some things that he did wrong?
Yeah, in this sport, like that's how it works. When something bad happens, you have two choice. You can use as a feel and as a you can use that as a lesson and come back twice as better, or you can, like, get too sad and this can break you, or this can make you grow so much. and I hope that that's what's gonna happen to him. It's gonna make him grow a lot, just like it happened to me too in the past. And I see like the think the way he is, I can remind myself when I was at that age too, and I learned it, and it's like I'm gonna give an example. Like Anderson Silva was the greatest, and he got to the UFC when he was 34 years old already.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you really seem like you're coming into your own. One of the things you said after the fight that struck me was you mentioned you just mentioned Anderson Silva, but after the fight, you mentioned specifically Charles Oliveira and Glover Teixeira, two guys who had faced adversity earlier in their careers and still went on to become champion. The thing about Oliveira is that when he switched gyms, he switched to Diego Lima's camp in Sao Paulo. Since then, he's 12-1 and became champion with 11 finishes. So he really turned his career around. You've bounced around a few gyms. I know you were at Nova União, you were at Factory X, you were even in New Jersey with Frankie Edgar for a while. But you've spoken that you really feel like you found a home in Las Vegas at Extreme Couture. I know you're working with Ray Sefo. How important is it for fighters to find a gym that's the right fit for them?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of difference when you feel comfortable where you at, and when you have the right coaches and the right training partners. It's a lot about feeling comfortable where you at, and also to me it wasn't just the gym, also the city. I like I'm not saying like Vegas, like I don't even know the party
Mhm.
part of Vegas. I'm really focused on my job, and I think I'm not in the moment to be partying yet. Now it's the time to grind and work hard and stay focused. And I think the mental part of this game is the most important. And I feel that here in Vegas, I've been doing pretty good on that part.
There's a lot of talent at Extreme Couture, and a lot of people praise you at Extreme Couture as well. One of the guys who has a big reputation at Extreme Couture is the middleweight champion, Sean Strickland. I know he trains there. He's got a reputation for a lot of the things, but one of those things is that he's a good teammate. He likes to help guys. He likes to work on things with guys. Have you experienced that? Did he help you at all with this fight? Have
Uh,
you seen him working with other people in the gym?
with me, like he a lot of times he watched me sparring, and he came at me and gave me good tips, and especially for this last fight, like on my, I think maybe my last sparring, he told me about like not don't not being so attached, and like kind of like have fun too. And he even
Mhm.
gave me an example in his first UFC fights. The mentality he had was almost the same mentality I had on Trey Ogden fight. And he say when he changed his mentality, he wasn't so attached, and he was trying to have fun and like be in the moment. Maybe he didn't say those words. He never would say words like that. You know how he talks like his. You know how the way he talks, but like I could understand. But what he said is like to to be not so focused on the results, but like just in the action, and in the action, in the staying in the moment, and like kind of like have fun too. We know like fights dangerous is our life. We risking our lives when we fight, but at the same time you gotta have some fun too, especially because I worked so hard on that since I was a kid. I love fighting, and I can't forget about that too.
Sounds like a lot of good advice. Do you think that Sean Strickland, maybe after he retires from MMA, might have a future as a coach?
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He has a good, how I say, he can be a really good coach. Yeah, he can do it.
All right, awesome. And there's one last thing I wanted to ask you about because a lot of people were talking about Nolan's height. You know, he's 6'3". He's a lightweight who's 6'3". I think the commentary team must have mentioned it 8 times leading up into the fight. But I've always thought personally, I think height is a little bit overrated. You know, there have been shorter guys like Volkanovski, Frankie Edgar, even DC is shorter than most of the guys he's fought. And you're 5'9", so you're like an average height for a lightweight. And you took care of business against a super tall guy. Would you agree with me? Because you're a professional fighter.
I
You're in
agree.
there.
I agree with you. And I work with Ray Sefo, and in K1, he was short compared to the other guys,
Mhm.
and that's something good. And after before this fight, I was studying Volkanovic's exactly
Mhm.
for the reason. I was doing some study on Volkanovic's fight, and Frankie Edgar. I used to train with him in New Jersey. Oh my God, that guy's a savage. He's a legend. He's a savage. And when he was the lightweight champion, he weighed, he walked around 155 and he didn't
It's
cut weight.
crazy.
He was the UFC champion of the world, the lightweight champion of the world. And he was so small compared to the other guys, but the motherfucker has a big heart.
Yes, he does. Now, you're coming off a big win. You really feels like you're coming into your own. I don't think you've made any call outs, but is there anybody on your radar? Is there a fight that you would like next? Maybe another guy who was on the contender series, or is there anyone on your radar?
I was thinking about Damir Hadzovic because I was supposed to fight him on my UFC debut, and I had an injury and I had to pull out. But he has a fight coming up already. It would be my dream to fight Paddy Pimblett, but I don't think they would give me that fight. And I don't know. I'm gonna go to Brazil for 2 weeks to spend some time with my family. I'm gonna train while I'm there, try to don't get fat, and be back right back to work in Vegas, and looking forward to fight to fight a lot this year, and I'm really happy, and like I said, I think I found it myself now.
Well, it's awesome to talk to you. We're really excited to see what you do next in your career. Thank you so much, Nicholas.
Thanks, brother.